This is a really fun event. So this really started a few years ago. We used to do a Women Who Create conference, and SheTalks was kind of a, let's do something fun at the end of the day. But SheTalks has now kind of become its own thing. So this is fun, right? Fun presentation. I'm missing a speaker. Who am I missing over there? 1, 2, 3, 4. Jazz Murray. I'm missing one of my speakers. The speakers are doing something called a Pachakacha presentation. So nobody knows how to pronounce it. We have studied this. We've looked up multiple how to pronounce this. I want you all to say it with me because it's really hard to pronounce. So it's not Pichakucha, which is what I've been saying for many years. It's Pachakacha. So on the count of 3, everybody's going to say Pachakacha, right? I can't do it. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Pachakacha. Good. You learned something new today, which is awesome. They don't have to say Pachakacha. They just have to do Pachakacha. It is challenging. I've done these myself, and we work with students all the time teaching them how to pitch something in 90 seconds. At least one of our presenters has done that. Challenging. This is a little bit different. This is a little bit theater, a little bit storytelling, a lot of inspiration. There's a reason that these people have been picked to do this, and thank you all for saying yes. They may be regretting it right at this moment, but I know you're going to love them. They all have a story to tell, so this is not really a business presentation. This is about some really amazing people telling you their story, and we've given them the option to share whatever they want. So it could be a piece of their small story, could be their business story, whatever they choose, but they have to do this. 20 slides will advance every 20 seconds. So that's a challenging thing to start with. I tell them it's like this is your the backup singers to your singing, right? So you're going to get up here and sing, and the backup singers are going to go. They don't get to control the clicker, and they have to be challenged to keep up with their slides that they've all prepared. And I'm sure they've practiced hours and hours and hours for this, right? No, they're not. So it's fine. So what we want to do is welcome them, and every time somebody comes up, big cheers, big smiles. I think you'll laugh. I think you'll be inspired. We may even have some emotional tears. I don't know, because they all have really amazing stories. We would not be able to do this event without the Ivy College of Business. So when we did our first Women Who Create conference and offered the SheTalks, David Spalding, who's the Debbie and Jerry Ivy Raisbeck Endowed Dean of the Debbie and Jerry Ivy College of Business, also our Vice President for Economic Development and Industry Relations. Any more titles? I don't know. I think that's a mouthful. Said, I love this. I want to sponsor this. So all of your food and drinks tonight are provided by the Ivy College of Business. So thank you, Ivy College of Business. And here to welcome you and kick us off is Dean David Spalding, my boss as well.
Well, thank you, Judy, and thank you all for being here tonight. When Judy first talked to me about doing a Pachakacha, I missed a syllable there somewhere. I thought I'd learned to speak Japanese in that easy lesson, but obviously not. So I thought this was intriguing. I've been here for each one of these. I've really enjoyed every one of them. It's absolutely great. And this isn't like a pitch competition where there's judging. This is all about laughing and having a lot of fun. So the Ivy College of Business, we are a college on the move. We're a college committed to advancing women in business. This has been an amazing fall for us. We have a record overall enrollment, 5,197 students. We have a record undergraduate enrollment. We have a record graduate enrollment. All of those meeting major goals of mine. But we also met one other major goal of mine. We are educating more women in the Ivy College of Business this fall than we ever have in our history. And very excited about achieving that. So we've got great programs. We really want to welcome all, help everybody advance their careers. Lifelong learners, we have a suite of online master's degree programs to help you advance. A Master of Accounting Analytics, a Master of Healthcare Analytics, a Master of Real Estate Development, all designed for busy working professionals. We also have an undergraduate degree completer program, a Bachelor of Business Administration. So I want to close, though. Judy Isles is amazing. Her team is amazing. So I'd like everyone from the Papa John Center to stand up so we can thank you for all the great work you all do all year. Please stand. I was going to ask former employees to stand also, but I'm too late on that. What I have to tell you about this team is 2 years ago, the Global Consortium of Entrepreneurship Centers, 240 entrepreneurship centers around the globe, named our Papa John Center right here in Ames, Iowa, the #1 entrepreneurship center on the entire globe. Now, I've always known they were the best damn entrepreneurship center in the world, but now somebody validated that. And it's really amazing to have that kind of recognition for a center based here in Ames, Iowa. So for all of you who are interested in pursuing your entrepreneurial journey, these are exactly the people for you to work for. Enough about me. Let's move on with the SheTalks.
So the way we're going to go, first group is going to come up. We have a duo to start us, and then we will just go to the second and the third, and then we're going to take a little 5-minute intermission. So if they need wine or you need wine, you can do that, and then we'll do the other three. So Amanda and Ellen, who's been to Dog-Eared Books downtown? Great place. Awesome.
And just quickly, thank you for the opportunity to tell part of our story. Thank you, Papa John Center. Thank you, Ivy College. Thank you, Judy, for thinking of us. Oh my gosh. Yes, we're ready. Let's see how this goes. All right, Dog-Eared Books, now in its 4th year in business, sprang from the desire to create the bookish haven that we, as 2 lifelong readers, so desperately crave to experience in our community. We wanted to build a beautiful place where book lovers like us could explore a unique and thoughtful curation of books, hoping to discover a new read to enthrall us.
As it's been for us, reading is often a favorite pastime of introverts. Thank you, Amanda. Books allow us to hunker down in the imaginative world of our own minds for hours at a time. It is most often a solitary activity, best enjoyed with little interruption from others.
But one of the things that has delighted us most since opening our doors on Ames Main Street in March of 2021 is how a love of reading, when given a communal place to grow, can sprout deeply meaningful bonds between people. Take Ellen and myself, for example.
We are both graduates of Ames High School's class of 2001, but for all the years we spent in the same buildings, we were little more than casual acquaintances. After college and the early days of our respective careers, small-town newspaper journalism for Amanda and middle school and high school teaching for me, we returned to Ames to raise our children near family.
Our paths crossed in the preschool pickup line outside Bethesda Christian Preschool in the fall of 2013. These are our littles. And several things prompted a reconnection. Our shared Little Cyclone pasts, our strong-willed daughters who towed the frenemies line in class, our mutual interest in local activism, particularly with the group Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense in America.
But it was ultimately our shared love of reading, particularly our strikingly similar tastes in books, that would lay the foundation for the friendship we have today. Amanda invited me to join her book club, a group of women raising young children who needed a night out once a month to talk about books, sure, but also the challenges of our stage of life. For years, that book club kept us in each other's orbit.
And over those years, when I would verbalize dreams of opening a bookstore in Ames, once the youngest of my children headed to full-day school, Ellen would say, if you decide to do it, hit me up, I'll do it with you. In April of 2019, I called Ellen on her offer. She says one of the reasons she said yes was because it wasn't like we were best friends and that starting a business together could be disruptive to that kind of intimacy. Regular friends, doable.
Fast forward 5 years, and there are now many days we spend more time together than with our respective spouses. We even exchange business partner rings in celebration of our 1-year anniversary because we're nothing if not extra. We continue to be amazed by how well this partnership works.
And while running a small business together has probably forged our lives together for all eternity, it's our passion for wonderfully absurd books that makes our relationship the special thing that it is. Hilarious, weird, but full of touching truth is totally our thing. While we both read widely, it's special that the books that move us both the most are the same.
Our bookstore family may have begun with just me and Amanda, but a team of passionate readers quickly found their way to us organically, both before and after we opened. Some we knew from our pre-bookstore lives, and some reached out when they heard a bookstore was opening in Ames. We've been fortunate to find them all.
In the Venn diagram of reading tastes, Ellen's and my reading tastes nearly completely overlap. It's a concentric circle. We knew it would be important that any hires we made had to expand the expertise that we would be able to offer our community. Amy reads twisted thrillers. Chad reads philosophy. Nayeli and Katie both read romance. Jess can be counted on to read historical fiction and anything cozy. Tomby reads middle grade. Bailey reads horror.
Mariah exclusively loves a book called The Ministry of Time. Rachel loves mythological retellings. Megan likes witchy stuff. Haley and Eloise read young adult. Roxy will read anything and can craft the coolest literary swag. And altogether, our varied tastes allow us to speak to the merits of almost any book in the store.
Of course, we hired these people for practical reasons. We hired them because they're hardworking. We hired them because they have superb people skills. We hired them to help manage the day-to-day logistics that keep our store running smoothly. What we didn't expect is that they would become incredibly important people in our lives.
And we believe it's books that make this uniquely possible. No lie, most mornings, the conversations that happen before the doors open center on what we've been reading. Are you reading anything good? You would love this book I just started. Did you hear so-and-so is coming out with a new book? I mean, we geek out together.
Perhaps the most rewarding connections that we've been a part of have been the ones that have occurred between booksellers and customers. It has always been our desire to cultivate a space that makes all people feel comfortable and welcomed, and our staff has taken that to heart in the way they interact with people who walk through our door.
Each of our booksellers have specific customers who have come to rely on them for book recommendations that suit their reading palates, but those relationships often extend beyond books. One customer has a regular seat at our front tables, always orders a scotcheroo, and knows us each by the sound of our voices. Another always bops in during a circuit of Main Street to show us new pictures of his granddaughter. Denise even wrote us a poem.
One customer brings us homemade goodies after her shifts at the bakery and texts us about whatever she's currently reading. And yet another likes to sit at the front tables, enjoy a beer, and is always willing to try one of our staff favorites. This one, Deanne, bought so many romance books from us in our first year, she was eventually appointed the Romance Book Club reader, right there.
One kind of connection we're privileged to witness are those that happen between individuals who meet or gather at our store. Through participation in our increasing number of book clubs and other events, new friendships have blossomed that extend beyond the bookstore. Our Writers Lab participants regularly get brunch together after meeting.
It's not uncommon for book club participants to hit up London Underground after a book club meeting. We've had proposals and even a wedding at Dog-Eared. Last week at Main Street's Witches Walk, a group of friends who met at one of the Dog-Eared book clubs, we're up to 12, were enjoying downtown together.
Because that's the beautiful thing about books, that such an inherently solitary endeavor can connect people on a soul level. Because when you talk to each other about books, you're talking about what moves you to cry or laugh or think differently. You're talking about the most meaningful aspects of human life. We're grateful to have created a space where those conversations can happen. Thank you. All right.
Awesome. Set the bar for all of you, right? See how easy it is? Very, very good. We'll let them get mic'd up. If you have not been to Dog-Eared Books, it is a delightful place in Ames, and it makes you smile every time you go in there. Our next presenter is somebody we've worked with in a couple capacities. So she is one of our university employees. So we've worked with Lindsay at Athletics and now at the ISU Foundation. And when you are ready, I'll let you get organized.
Every second.
And we'll manage the clicker.
Here we go. Let's see. Am I live? Okay, here we go. All right, good afternoon, everyone. I am honored to be here today and to share how I learned to connect my passion and purpose to find a place in this world. My name is Lindsay Long, and I grew up in beautiful Colorado, and people often ask, why are you in Iowa when you could be in Colorado? And I said, because I love it here. My Cyclone journey started on the soccer field, but I never planned to stay 25 years later. 1996 was the inception of Iowa State Soccer, and I came in 1999. I wanted to be part of a building program. I loved the team. I loved the vision that was painted for me. When I stepped foot on this campus, I fell in love with this place, and at 17, my parents dropped me off at Maple Willow Larch, and I was not prepared for what the next few years were in front of me. As I reflect on my experiences, which has become a habit of practice, I have learned to give myself grace. My transition into college was not the experience that I expected or had set out for. I was torn down every facet of what I knew best, and that was soccer. And suddenly, I found myself in a situation where I was not set up to succeed. I am an extremely competitive person, And goal setting is something that I have always just done. But what I didn't understand at that time in my life is that the value is in the process of setting goals. The thinking about your thinking, metacognition, taking control of what you can and not taking on other people's opinions as your value. I was not going to quit, and throughout this time I endured 11 coaching changes and 3 different head coaches in 5 seasons. What I learned through this time of my life is that life is full of change, and things can be taken away from you in just seconds. In fact, going into my sophomore year, I was at the top of my game. Our club team had just come off of a national championship at the Wide World of Sports complex in Disney. It was incredible. 1 minute and 56 seconds into the opening match, I broke my ankle, and I had a plate and 7 screws, ended my season. This was the year that changed my life. I had put every part of who I was into an identity of something that I did and not who I am. I did not feel like I belonged because it was something that I couldn't do any longer. This adversity taught me how to respond to setbacks. I will never forget the feelings that I endured during this time and how lost I felt. It motivated me to come back stronger, which I did in earning co-MVP than my senior year. Because of losing my sophomore season, I gained an additional year of eligibility, and during this time I met my husband, who ran track here, Andy Long. We got married on Central Campus, and the beautiful wedding and the reception at Great Hall. There are many times that I'm in these spaces and I often reflect back to the event details that I now do in all my daily jobs. Immediately upon graduation, I landed a great paying job, but quickly learned that it was not the right fit for me. Through the next 5 years, I had 4 different jobs and strong feeling of disappointment. It didn't feel successful. I didn't feel like I had direction or vision of what success looked like for me. In 2008, I found my way back to campus, and even though a couple different roles, continuing my education was the best path for me. This was a stretch goal, and I never thought pursuing a master's would be part of my journey. The level of anxiety that I faced with this decision was overwhelming. I had built a narrative that kept me in a box that others put me in during my undergraduate studies, and I didn't believe in myself. In 2016, I graduated with a master's degree in higher education with emphasis on educational leadership and policy studies. This program was the catalyst to a new way of thinking that has continued to drive my personal and professional development. The process of developing a growth mindset, valuing multiple perspectives, and learning is a lifelong process. I will forever be grateful to Dr. Barb Licklider for pushing me and supporting me through a time that helped me to become the best version of myself. Throughout my higher education journey, I was a director of Letter Winners Club and special events for Iowa State Athletics. It was special for me to serve through the department that brought me to Iowa State. I spent just under 12 years in athletics, connecting and celebrating the student-athlete life cycle. My passion for serving became a focal point of my professional career, and the way that I did this was connecting athletic alumni and providing opportunities for people to celebrate being a Cyclone. We have times in our lives where we can pinpoint a single moment that changed in the course of action for one of our goals. And one of these moments came to me in 2018 when I sat down for lunch with Dr. Rob Whitehead, Associate Professor of Architecture. I took a leap of faith and shared a vision for creating a service program for student athletes that became Cyclone Serve. The guidance that Dr. Whitehead offered through incorporating a service learning model into the student-athlete programming would lead to life-changing experiences and not just a checkbox for student-athletes. This program led to reinstating the international service trip in which I was blessed to serve on in Costa Rica. It created something that didn't have barriers. We are Cyclones, we serve, it's who we are. The student-athletes embraced this model, and we later won the NACTA Fiesta Bowl Community Service Award. My Cyclone journey came full circle. I closed a gap that I experienced for fellow student athletes through supporting the transition into college, out of college, and always having an open door to welcome athletic alumni back to Iowa State. Supporting these transitions meant that I had to face times in which I wasn't who I wanted to be. The adversity I had experienced across different stages of life, different stages of my own journey taught me that I can do hard because I have done hard, that I should believe in myself because I'm worth it, and I will find a way even when everyone else tries to tear me down. That my value is not in what others think of me, and it's not tied to the sport I played or the titles that I hold. When I set goals, I'm flexible in my thinking, I apply creative problem solving in my approach, and control the narrative that I deliver to myself with honesty and vulnerability. These lessons learned and strategies around setting goals prepared me to grow into the role that now affords me an opportunity to serve the entire university as the Senior Director of Donor Relations and Events at the Iowa State University Foundation. I hope that by sharing parts of my Cyclone journey and the moments that help me to define who I want to be will inspire you to go for the goal, to value the process when life knocks you down, pursue your passion, and find a purpose because you are worth it. Thank you.
Lindsay was worried about her slide timing. That you ended up perfect. Great. It was perfect. Great job.
I'm stuck.
You're stuck. Thank you, Lindsay. Good job. I love it. And I always learn something new about these people that I think I already know, and it's always great. Our next young presenter, I'm going to give this to Molly here, is no stranger to this stage. So Jasmine Ray was in many of our programs, has pitched 50 times, won a lot of money pitching. And this is different. I know this is a different kind of presentation for you, but a graduate of our university, a great friend to our Papa John Center program, and you're going to be awesome. I have total confidence in you, Jasmine Ray. So please welcome Jasmine Ray Johnson.
Okay, can y'all hear me good? Okay. All right, I'm ready. Since I was a young child, I have always had my own voice. I've always been outspoken, I've been loud, I've been confident, never afraid to stand in front of a crowd, as you can see. Some people may have loved me for it, some people hated me for it. Sometimes I loved myself and I hated myself for it, but little did I know that those qualities would carry me through a lifetime. I grew up in a household of 4, and I have a total of 8 different siblings. My father was an abusive alcoholic who was incarcerated for most of my childhood. My mom wasn't home much, and with my dad being away, we were able to do a lot of things unsupervised that a lot of kids wouldn't be able to do. I grew up on the south side on Section 8 housing, and I was able to build a community with my peers, a bunch of people who look like me. Now, naturally, as children, we're very curious. We want to do a lot of things. We like to explore. And with no one in the house to tell me no, I was able to explore that curiosity in a variety of ways, which now I'm very grateful for. I had a passion for learning. I had a passion for people. And I had a passion for experimenting. I was surrounded by people of color for most of my life. We didn't have much, but we had each other, as you can see in this picture. We always got together for the first day of school to do a lot of different things. We had ideas, sisterhood, friendship, community. We had our imagination. We would sit outside for hours, and this is literally illegal, but one time we hacked into our neighbor's Wi-Fi, and we would use their internet to look up different things. We would walk to McDonald's to sit on the internet for hours. I found confidence in myself through my ability to do so and to create. There was something magical about being able to make something out of nothing, and the people around me always encouraged me to do so. My neighborhood was great, but my life inside my home looked a lot different than the life that I had outside. At times, there was no food in the house, there was no heat, no father, no water, and sometimes no mother either. My siblings and I had no choice but to be greater than our circumstances. Early on, I didn't learn how to live, but I learned how to survive. School ended up becoming my safe space, and it was my savior. It was somewhere that I could go, and I knew that there would be food, heat, knowledge, electricity, and everything was always provided with no expense. At an early age, I was excited to attend school for a variety of reasons, but as I started getting a little bit older, I would sometimes feel uncomfortable in my own skin. At 6 years old, I was diagnosed with a chronic illness, Graves' disease, and that resulted in puffy skin, bulging eyes, hair loss, and that's just to name a few of the symptoms that I dealt with. So for years, I started to struggle with my anxiety, I started to struggle with my confidence, and I remember being in 4th grade crying because my features were being made fun of. I realized that I was different than the vast majority. At home, people looked like me, but at school, no one did. Everything was different. The way I talked, the way my hair was, my nose, my eyes, my lips, everything about me seemed to be too big, even my personality. Bullies started to make me feel extremely insecure about myself, and my lips in particular seemed to be the butt of everyone's jokes. I tried to find comfort in television shows, but the version of beauty that mainstream markets push was a complete opposite of me. We see Hannah Montana, pale skin, blue eyes, small lips. I felt alienated and invisible at the same time. It wasn't until I discovered a new sitcom named Moesha that inspired me to become the author of my own story and to redefine what beauty meant to me. Moesha was a brown-skinned girl. She had big lips, box braids, and a keen sense of style. Every episode, her lips were layered in the most prettiest shades of lip gloss and lipstick, and I instantly fell in love with her character. Not only was Moesha beautiful, but she was talented, she was confident, she was poised, headstrong, everything that I inspired to be. She never let anyone dim her light, and most importantly, she went after every opportunity despite the hurdles and obstacles that she faced. I had finally seen someone on TV who I could relate to, and she was beautiful, but most importantly, for the first time in forever, she was someone that looked like me. Moesha is what inspired me to start investing in my own beauty, and that's kind of the start to my story. I asked my mom to purchase me lip gloss after I started watching Moesha wear it, but my mom said that it was not age appropriate and that I was too young. The jokes are getting worse at school, and I needed something to make me feel more confident in my own skin. And as I stated earlier, my dad was gone most of the time, and my mom, I don't know where she was at, but she wasn't home. So I was taught to use my own resources, and I decided to make my own lip gloss because my mom said she wouldn't buy it for me. Unfortunately, I didn't have any of the ingredients at home to make my own lip gloss, but I did have innovation skills. So I mixed Vaseline, Kool-Aid, and I created my own lip gloss. it was kind of dangerous because I was like literally in 4th grade on the stove mixing these things together. And my mom came home and she's like, girl, what are you doing? I'm like, girl, I'm making lip gloss. And she had no choice but to respect it after that. So ever since that day, I learned how to love myself a little bit harder. I always went to school with lip gloss. My mom started buying me it. She couldn't invest in making it a bigger project because we didn't really have the funds to do so. But eventually, I just felt confident in my skin. I started attending Iowa State University. That's me as a little freshman at I don't know what it's called, but that was me as a freshman. But once again, I started to feel invincible again. I didn't have any peers that looked like me. The population for African Americans here is about 2.5%, so I just felt alienated again and similar to my 4th grade self. I needed something that was going to make me feel confident. So I used my innovation skills, mixing activism and innovation. I was able to create Simply Simone LLC. I am the CEO and founder of a socially conscious cosmetics company. I offer a variety of shades that make people feel beautiful and confident in their own skin. Inclusive beauty is key for confidence. Feeling pretty is a protest. Simply Simone is an evolution of making people feel beautiful in their own skin and making it a reflection of real life. I not only center on darker skinned women, but I also focus on members of the LGBTQIA+ community and wider shaped bodies, just in order to redefine what beauty, I'm so sorry, y'all, I'm stuttering today. Also, wider shaped bodies redefining what is deemed as beautiful and challenging the racial practices and standards within the cosmetics industry. You're probably wondering where I got Simply Simone from, and my middle name is Simone, which surprisingly enough is a French origin meaning to be heard, and I feel like I'm doing just that with my brand. I graduated from Iowa State University in 2023, and I have been making a dent in the beauty industry ever since I got there. From dorm room hustle to $1 million company. I'm not a millionaire yet, but remember that I said it here first. I'm an Iowa State University alumni, I'm an author, I'm a poet, a part-time chef, and now I am a licensed massage therapist. But most importantly, I am a small business owner. I want to meet the needs of Black women everywhere and women of color to make a real difference in the world. I love using my hands to create a difference with massage therapy and with cosmetics. With everything I do it with passion, I do it with love. I have goals of opening up my own salon and spa named Aurora's one day, combining my love for the people with therapeutic touch and cosmetics to transform lives. Thank you.
I knew you'd kill it. We are going to take a 5-minute break. So it's 5:30. So at 5:35, feel free to grab a drink, some snacks, restrooms around the corner to your right. 5 minutes, and we will start with our remaining 3. Jesmarie, you killed it. Thank you. We have a small business owner. Corey, I don't know when we first met, but years ago through the chamber, I think, activities. And somehow we became Facebook friends. And you make me laugh all the time. She posts, I don't know if everybody's going to want to Facebook friend you now, but some of the things you post are so real and funny and just inspirational. So it's like, we got to have Corey come and talk. So I have no idea what to expect, but I have confidence she will entertain you. So please welcome Corey Hoyce.
Can you hear me? Yeah, that was really nice. I like to set expectations lower than that, personally, but just me. When you're ready. I'm ready. Hi, I'm Corey. My background's in marketing. I've done some pretty interesting things. I purchased 2 businesses and started one. I now own Hoyce Printing, Pioneer Communications, the Iowan Magazine, and Corey Hoyce LLC. That's an interior design company focused on remodels. This has been my name for my entire life. You may have a hard time saying it, so I'm going to read you some poetry. When your organization needs a voice and you need to make the right choice, call us or come to Hoyce. You won't be surprised when you get the invoice. Now you know how to say the name, rejoice. That's maybe the hardest part about this whole speech, and the thing I hope you learn. In grade school, we had these planners we filled out each year. Feeling too constrained by the career options in kindergarten, I chose trapeze artist as my intended career. By 5th grade, I diversified and decided I would be all the things. It turns out Iowa State doesn't have a trapeze arts major. I chose interpersonal communications. I also hold degrees from Colorado College and the Milwaukee Area Technical Institute. Hoyce Printing did hand-carved signs and painted. When I was a child, I cleaned bathrooms, pulled weeds, and hand-collated paper in exchange for $2 and an orange soda, the glass kind you could pull out of the machine by its neck. If you're under 40, ask your parents what that is. Hoist printing was started in 1972 by my father. I wish he still had those plaid pants. I returned to the family business when I was 32, purchased it when I was 36. Family members, friends, and others have helped me through the years in ways that are too much for a 20-second slide. We still do signs and large format things. They look more like this now. The craft of the industry has changed. I've been here 20 years and have navigated many decisions. When I started, Franklin Covey was our largest customer and a third of our business. How many of you still have planners? Very much a traditional manufacturer when I started. Ink on paper is most of what we did. Customers regularly asked me for advice on how to develop their image and brand, and I found myself wanting to offer solutions beyond print. We added promotional products and apparel to meet the variety of material needs of our customers. I'm going to pause dramatically because I've built in an extra 5 seconds apparently. I went to the grocery store this week to get all of the things: toilet paper, laundry detergent, fluffy, bulky things. When I got home, I put all of the bags on my arms and carried them in because I'm no two-tripper. I'm going to overachieve, right? Made it into the house, opened the door in one efficient trip. I've always been that way and believe I can do all the things. Generally, I'm pretty good at them. I cannot possibly scale, produce, and operate alone. I have a group of amazing individuals who are incredibly good at what they do, whether it's a customer, family member, a friend, people who want to see you win, help you win. At work, I don't have to carry all those grocery bags alone. I wrote a manifesto because I could. It serves as a framework for how we conduct ourselves at work. I believe in surrounding myself with people who will help me make good choices and challenge me. Not gonna lie, sometimes I would relish blind agreement. But this creates the best decisions that ultimately serve our clients and our business. A 19-year-old I know called me this week, made it the speech. Him, you're rich and I need advice. Me, I'm one decision away from living on the river. Him, I'd like to start a business where I can work 2 hours a day and make passive income. Me too, me too. My reality is I work a lot. When onboarding a large customer, I spent several weeks sleeping on this couch in my office and keeping the equipment running around the clock. One Tuesday, I got a phone call from the post office. Your chickens are here. They're active and like Michael Jackson music. During those sleepless weeks, I'd ordered chickens and forgotten about it. Not every decision I make is from a place of solid thinking, but I'm fully committed to the responsibility of my decisions. My father had coffee every day at 9 a.m. with Jack. One day I approached to ask a question, and Jack said to me, "Make the decision, Corey. You're going to be wrong sometimes. Make the decision. You're never going to be ready, no matter planning prepared me for the ride." I'm not saying don't plan. It's dumb to be a trapeze artist without a net. I really try hard not to let fear of the unknown stop me from reaching the next bar. How many of you have had this experience with your spouse? What's for dinner? I don't know. What do you want? I don't know. You sit in the car and wait at a stop sign for someone to choose so you know which direction to choose. Sometimes what to do with the rest of my life seems as insurmountable as what am I going to have for supper tonight? To stay on track, I ask myself these 3 questions every day, and I drew my own slide. What actions have moved me towards the goal? Are there any changes I can make? And what happened that I'm grateful for, and have I said thank you for them? We own, create, write, design, and print magazines. The Iowan is distributed in 50 states. You're going to see this in the slide in a second. You should subscribe. We print and distribute more than 250,000 standing ovations programs to arts organizations in central Iowa. I bought Pioneer Publishing 6 years ago, and these came along with that purchase. Our company dropped 62% in sales during COVID. Over the next 2 years, 30% of the country changed jobs. Customers lost expertise. We started using that time to do outsourced marketing for companies. So it's like we're a marketing agency and staffing house rolled into one location with all employees on staff to handle any project. We're still a small batch custom manufacturer. We have the same manufacturing headaches as our customers. Now we go from idea generation to product creation to distribution all in one place and operate some unique custom programs. I've had the opportunity to work with some of the biggest brands in the United States. And outside, there's this one day the Swedish consulate called me, floored me. We've done some pretty impactful things to help our customers grow. I'm not here to say all the right things, to list these accomplishments. I'm here to say I'm grateful that I can do good work and help others do good work. I'm grateful for the people in my life who've both paved the way and supported my journey. I believe in growing customers and in growing businesses in the state of Iowa. What drives me is seeing them thrive. In fact, it became our tagline. Telling the stories of others is what we do every day, whether it's a bookmark, postcard, embroidered shirt, social media, or fully integrated campaign. Every day we have decisions to make. If you have something you want to do, you should go do it. Ride the trapeze, swing out and grab. Thanks for listening.
Good job, Corey. I knew there'd be chickens in there somewhere. Way to go. Our next presenter, Melissa Chamberlain, is a professor at Iowa State. So she's, again, one of our Ivy College of Business professors in management with an emphasis on organizational behavior. But my guess, having peeked at her slides, is you're going to hear a different presentation. This is probably not going to be about management and entrepreneurship. This is about Melissa. So a little bit about Melissa. Melissa Chamberlain, please welcome.
Thank you. Thanks. I'm ready. I think so. So I'm super excited to be here tonight because I get to talk about one of my work passions, which is building teams and relationships. But Judy also said I could talk about whatever I wanted, so I am going to talk about one of my personal passions, which is swimming, and specifically swim teams for adults and the master's team that I built. So coming here to Ames, Iowa in 2017, I was initially excited because I had heard there was a master's team here. And I expected something like this, lots of people, very engaged, and I found something more like this. No one here, no team, no one participating. And so why would it be important to me to have a team? Well, teams are powerful in what they do. They are performance and efficiency. As a team, we're more creative, we have better decisions, we problem solve. But most importantly for my purposes, I could be talented on my own, but if I really wanted to push where I could be, I needed a team to help me get there. Teams are also connected. A lot of research would tell us that having social connections is just good for us. So we have more confidence. It buffers our mental health. It lowers our stress, keeps us healthier in general, helps us live a longer life, makes us feel more supported and more resilient. And frankly, teams are just fun. When we do them right, we're more motivated, we're more committed. We really get to celebrate the wins because we're enjoying it in the presence of others. And if things don't go right, well, they help buffer some of those negative times for us. When we think about teams, we think about people coming together, but teams are more than just some people doing the same thing. It's people with a shared vision, a mission, goals, coming together to do something with purpose and something that is special. So we needed members. So this dashing man here was our first team member. He also happens to be my husband, so his voluntary participation is a little questionable. But we grew and we grew and we grew, and eventually found a large community of like-minded individuals who wanted to swim for fun and fitness. It was really important to us to bring this group together with a diversity of skills, abilities, and talents. The mosaic that we could create with different perspectives and ideas coming into the group was more rich and meaningful than having everybody being able to do the same thing. But when you have a lot of people, you need to define what everyone's contribution looks like. This is the women's 4x100 relay, right after they won gold in Paris. And I guarantee you none of these ladies were standing behind the block that night thinking, this team is fun, I wonder what I'm doing here. We need to know what it is that we can contribute so that we can run as a well-organized team. And we avoid some of the usual pitfalls of our social loafers and our overperformers. When we define the roles and expectations for the group, our social loafers are motivated because they know what they can contribute, and those who are trying to do everybody's job fall back into where they can really contribute best. It develops a sense of accountability among our team. So my group here, sending out to the group text to tell them, yes, in fact, we did do the workout this morning. Or our group here, cheering someone on to go a little bit faster. The team becomes responsible for everyone's performance and performing to a max capacity. Along with that, we developed a sense of trust. We became able to take bigger leaps and bigger steps as a group because there were people there to support us. We supported one another, we were responsible for one another, and developed a sense of safety and confidence within our group. So certainly there was some literal safety, but also we want to think about this kind of safety. We had each other's backs. We were there. We could take risks, we could make mistakes, and the team was there to support those things all along the way. And when that happens, we have a really special thing. People are more engaged, they're more involved. They want to do more and bring their full selves to the team, to their work, and to their performance. And this leads us to a really important point about teams. Communication is critical, and communication in all forms. We've all sent the email and then had the conversation of, didn't you see my email? Communicate often in various ways. We have a text chain, we say it out loud, we've got email, all to keep us on the same page, moving towards those same goals and those same expectations. And we, of course, wouldn't be anywhere if we didn't throw in a little positive attitude. We know positive attitude is contagious, that's important, but more than just the attitude, it's recognizing that everybody in the group is coming with positive intentions. They want to contribute their best, they want to be there, and recognizing what that looks like. As we all came together as a team, we started to develop our unique culture, something that set us apart from the rest of the group. The inside jokes, the jargon, the stories, the shared values, all of this put us together and said, we are a team. When we become a team, we become able to conquer challenges and take on new goals and new expectations that we never thought possible. And this became particularly salient to me earlier this summer when I broke my foot 3 weeks before our big championship meet that we were all planning to go to as a group. I leaned into my team like I never had before. When we think about teams, it's individuals that come together to make a stronger group. But when we put all of that in place, the team itself becomes something more than the sum of its parts and gives back to the individuals who are in it. We are higher performers together. So, little epilogue. I would like to say my team lifted me up enough to make it to that national meet 3 weeks later. Turns out foot injuries are very, very dangerous, and that did not happen. But all the effort and the time that I put in worked out because the team, we did great. Thank you.
So if you're a student at Iowa State University, I'm sure you want to figure out what classes Melissa Chamberlain teaches so you can take her classes, because she's really dynamic. So thank you, Melissa. Who knew she was a swimming person, right? Cool. We are getting to our last presenter, which is sad because it just all goes so fast. But Jennifer Knox is going to speak next. Anybody been to Farmers Market? You've probably come across Jennifer. She also teaches at Iowa State. And I learned in our intermission that Jennifer's going to need to manage the clicker because she over-clicked in the slides. So not cheating, but we're going to give her the opportunity to control this. We'll see how it goes. Totally allowed because this is all for fun. So let's have a big round of applause for our last presenter, Jennifer Knox.
Thank you. As my students in here know, I'm always saying, don't battle the visual. The visual is stronger than you. You control the visual, and then I put clicks all over this thing like a clicking lunatic. So, ready? Do I click it?
You have the clicker now. So
oh, I click through. I see. Uh-oh.
the right arrow.
Right arrow. I'm Jennifer Knox, and I'm here to tell you the story of salt liquors. We make herb and spice infused seasoning sugars and salts together with my husband and my partner, Colin Switzer. And we don't use any desiccants, no MSG, no silicone dioxide, no chemicals. And it says right on the jar, no creepy shiznit. So how do we make this stuff? Well, first, we always use whole spices and whole herbs when we can get them. Whole spices and whole herbs when we can get them. And that's because it's often in the grinding mills that contamination takes place. So we use them whole whenever we can get them. And then we dehydrate them, which can take anywhere from, let's say with parsley, a couple of hours, to radishes, which take 3 days. And then we grind them up, either in a mortar and a pestle or something electric. And then we whip it around together with the spice and the sugar in a Cuisinart. I know what you're thinking. Why do you do that? Right? It's nuts. It's like something that they used to do in medieval times. And we have spices now in the grocery store, so why do you go that far to do that? And I love art. And I love watching the moisture flee out of cucumber slices and orange slices, and these are little pineapple birds that you make on the dehydrator. So I like it slow and unfortunately very complicated, which is why there are clicks all over this speech. And sorry. Somebody came up to the booth once and said, I heard you all just take spices from other places and pour them into the jars and put your label on it. And I thought, now that's a good idea. That's a business idea. Why didn't I think of that? And it's probably because I have a master's degree in poetry writing. And I don't know the exact figure, but I will tell you there is little to no intersection between money and poetry that I'm aware of. I started making the blends, not for money or, of course, to sell, just for fun, in my kitchen in 2011. Right here, if you poured anything down the sink, it popped up in the bathtub. So that was kind of cool. And because it was so narrow, I had to put the dehydrators all around the apartment. So it started to smell like a reptile pit at the zoo. And these are the first 4 blends I ever made. And they turned out really well. I couldn't believe it. All my friends and my family were complimenting, not me, because I get uncomfortable with that. They were complimenting the blends, and I love that. And then this woman who I work with, Jen Edwards, who I call Miss Bossy Pants, said, my husband will only eat meatloaf with What's a Matterhorn now. I thought, well, that's not a problem. And she said, so you've got to start selling it. And I know that's money, right? Even though I got the poetry degree, I know it's money. So I went to Brooklyn Flea and for one day, and I made $3,000, which is more than I've ever made at a poetry reading. So you know I was hooked. I couldn't believe this was happening. And then I met my husband at a barbecue in Brooklyn, and I had gotten my undergraduate degree at the University of Iowa, and I forgot how nice Iowa guys are. They're so cute and just lovely. And so we hooked up, and we had a long-distance thing for a while, and then he saw the dehydrators in my apartment. He said, this would be easier to do in Iowa. So when I got here, he invented stuff that's really simple, like crop duster, which is ground salt and pepper. And when he suggested it to me, I said, that's stupid. Nobody will ever buy that. But it was a great idea. And then one of our fails was this idea for a mascot for salt liquors, which we called him the Salt Elf. And I asked one of our best customers once, what do you think of the Salt Elf? And she said, yeah, that's really creepy, isn't it? So not everything works. Colin also was able to figure out how we can reach people at the farmer's market. Remember, we're selling things that people don't know what they are, and we're asking them to take them home and put them on their food. We didn't know how to do it. Please drink this? What are you supposed to do with it? And Colin knew that you give them a sample, because samples can sell it. And we have had We probably could write a book about people's reaction to suggesting, here, try some food that you don't know what it is. You get a really strong reaction, but she doesn't. She always gets a very nice reaction. And these are the little cups we use now to let people try the blends. And sometimes you can find out a lot about a person by seeing how they do the sample. Some do like this, very daintily. Some take a little sip out of it. Some actually put it right here and flip. And then some people shoot the whole thing, but the people who say, put it in my hand, all of it in my hand, those are great people, and you know they know how to cook, that they're not afraid of getting the salt on them. So after we'd been doing this for 5 or 6 years, this is what amazed me, is how people were taking these things home and making all sorts of wonderful stuff with it. This is our GG allium free. So there are a lot of people who cannot eat onions or garlic. And they're in all spice blends because they're cheap and it's very easy to load chemicals onto them. But we don't have to put those in because we make every batch one at a time. So we are very flexible in what we make. And the really amazing thing is how creative people get with the stuff. So I'm not big on compliments to myself, but I love seeing people be creative with the blends and do all kinds of terrific stuff. And this is an email that gotta go back. So these are the kids who grow up with the blends. I mean, look at this one. So that little bit of text was a young man, he had just gone off to college, and he said, I've grown up with these blends, and I can't start a new house without your flavors in it. So that has been the real joy, is connecting with people that way. Oh, wow.
Anybody want to impromptu story tell? Round of applause for all of our wonderful presenters. You were all great. We are actually right on time, and at the end of the program, we've asked our presenters to stick around for 30 minutes. Feel free to help have more food and drinks. I haven't had anything to drink, and I can't say that. Food and drinks. Meet our presenters, learn more about them, compliment them. You all were great. Thank you so much for doing this. And we will record these. So if you know somebody that you want to hear their story, we will eventually, thanks to Roger, round of applause for Roger back there. The Papa John Center has a YouTube channel, and we will have each of your presentations. You can go see yourself if you want to. Share with your friends and family. But thank you all for coming. Thank you, Ivy College of Business, for sponsoring for the next 30 minutes. Please give them some love because they were amazing. So thank you all for being here tonight.